What up, party people? How you living? How you doing? It is a fantastic day out here in Santa Monica, California. And as always, it is a damn good day to have a damn good day. Before we dive into episode 48, let me tell you about a current podcast I'm into. I've recently been binging the podcast called Angel. Angel is by Jason Calacanis, who basically interviews the greatest investors on earth. I have jumped headfirst into learning about venture capital. I just can't get enough of the content. And podcasts, as always, that's why you guys are here, is such a valuable way to gain tons of insight while you're on the go, while you're on the move. And if you're new to the podcast, our mission here is twofold: to educate aspiring entrepreneurs by dissecting the come-up stories of incredible humans, by extracting the golden nuggets that you can apply now to better your life. And second, to have all my friends that are making moves to meet my other friends that are making moves, to create one giant community of extraordinary people. Today, we are joined by one of UFC's most up-and-coming all-stars in the game, Ewell. Andre has a pro MMA record of 15 wins, 5 losses. He is currently 2-1 in his professional UFC career and is coming off a huge W in the main card at UFC 232. I first learned about Andre through my good friend Matt Dodge, who is the owner of Dodge Sports, one of the most up-and-coming UFC agencies in the game. I remember speaking with Matt on the phone, and he called me up and was telling me about this fighter named Andre, and he just kept talking about how amazing this guy was, just his character, his personality, and just how grateful of a human being he was. And that really caught my attention, so I started following him on Instagram at DAII42. And man, he just practices what he preaches. He's always has a positive attitude, and he just has this freaking aura about him where he's just all about being positive, making moves, and just pointing towards the goal. And let me tell you, Andre's story is no joke. I mean, this dude truly hit rock bottom. And when I'm talking about rock bottom, you guys are going to hear all about it. The man was freaking down, and he talks about how he rose up from the ashes. It made him who he is today. I mean, he really is a fighter to the core, who he fights for, why he does it. I mean, his story is so inspiring. I can't wait to jump into it. In this episode, we discuss challenges both mentally and physically that fighters face, what goes into the preparation process before a fight of this magnitude, how to take a punch and still smile, and so much more about the intricacies of what makes a fighter a fighter. As always, all of our episodes are featured on YouTube. You can check out the stream. And if you enjoy this podcast, we ask you to like, comment, and share the good vibe. On this podcast, we're all about people making moves, and Andre, the definition of it. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Woo! We're live.
Love it.
With Mr. Andre Ewell. Oh, I'm so stoked to see you, man.
Thank you for having me.
I was just telling these guys before, it's been such a blast watching your journey and following you, because we originally met through Matt Dodge. You're working with Dodge Sports. Shout out.
Shout out to Dodge.
It has been so much fun just seeing the journey and seeing how far you've come. I mean, 2-1 now in the UFC. Fantastic. Coming off a phenomenal win. We were watching it yesterday. You got hands, dude.
See, look, they call me, the Dragon Fist, because I got him. I'm just saying, these hands, I got them.
You're so quick. You're so quick. You're like, 1, 2, 3.
See, that's like all Bruce Lee. I give him full credit.
Have you always been quick? Like when you were younger? Like, did you crush it in dodgeball? Were you just like a quick dude?
See, dodgeball, actually, I was actually great. I was really great at dodgeball. Not the tether ball. I don't know if you know that game. I sucked at that one.
Yeah, that game was confusing because the tallest kid would always win tetherball.
It really was. It was
such an unfair advantage.
Yeah, I was truly trash at that one. But dodgeball, I was the man.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Have you been fighting your whole life? Like when you were younger? When did you first officially consider yourself mentally a fighter?
Truly, mentally a fighter? I can go ahead and say 10th grade.
10th grade.
10th grade. It came down to this moment. I just ended up realizing I'm fighting. And it came down to my mom ended up telling me hey, I think you should fight. And I looked at her and I was like, no, I'm pretty, Mo. I was like, I'm one of those cute kids. I can't do it. I'm light skinned. I had I don't know if anybody remember the shoelace, pushing the hair back because I had really long curly hair. So I was like, no, I'm all right. But I always end up finding myself in a lot of fights. Every time we moved, the bully always found me, or somehow found my brother and I got to defend my brother, or you say something about my mama, we gotta go, But I was in there, but set at the age of 7/8, I was in boxing and taekwondo, wrestling and taekwondo, and that ended up turning into a lot more wrestling. And then it was like, I promise you, I was putting a lot of kids in headlocks.
Oh, damn.
Like I promise you, that was the old school headlock move. That was like one of my favorite ones, you know. But I found myself always fighting the bully and popping him in a headlock, you know. So that's how it always happened.
You mentioned you had a brother. You have one brother?
Actually, big family. We got like 11.
Oh, damn.
Yeah,
are you guys close?
Yeah, we are definitely close, or at least the lower half. I got like 2 extra older ones, but we have not met yet. So it's like a future
The
thing
Andre Ewell family reunion coming
you know,
to
we
a...
got to find them, you know. So we got to end up doing that. And definitely, like how you said, the reunion. We got to catch it.
That's the best. I always am so jealous of families that are like super close and have these huge reunion parties. Like one day when the future LenJones family, we got to get some reunions going on.
And it's actually kind of funny because on my pop's side, he has we'll call it the Browns, Januaries, and Ewells. We'll all like come together like once a year. I didn't end up making this one this year, but the last 2 years, it's kind of interesting because like everybody has like their own like little problems, and they end up bringing it there at that table that day. Because we have a cousin, or I have a cousin that's in the NBA right now. He just got traded. He went from Milwaukee to Detroit.
What's his name?
Tony Snell. You know, went to school with Kawhi Leonard and everything. They played well on the same team and everything. So, like, majority of the family reunions is kind of like weird there, and it's like everybody to watch them, and then they got me because it's like I'm the one that's coming up, you know, and they know that we're like, oh, like we got 2 superstars in the family, you know, it's our generation, like, and our family, because like our family is very talented, and majority of them is like basketball players, like, you know, like all of them hit over like the 6 feet era, and then it's got me, like I'm like the borderline, like my little brother's taller than me, and it was like, come on now, you know. But in my eyes, it's like he played the whole basketball gene. He was in the basketball longer than me, and then the time that I got there, it's like, don't get me wrong, I was good. I was really good. I was averaging points, you know.
So basketball is like the cornerstone of the family. Now you're coming in hot in a whole different world.
A whole different world.
That's exciting.
Yeah, and that's how I look at it. And, you know, like my pops, he was into football. And, you know, he was really, really tough on us growing up, wanted us to be great. I get it. You know, when you get older, you start to understand it. Right. But when you're young, it's like you don't get that. You don't understand that. It's like, hey, where's the real love at? You know. But when you get older, it's okay. This is what you wanted because, you know, you didn't have as much, and you wanted us to have everything. So that's apparent, and I get it. But rough. So in my eyes, fighting was always the go-to.
So you're going through, that's in high school, you're starting fighting. You said 10th grade is when you really consider yourself a fighter. Did you go to school? Did you go to college?
I did some college. And the funny moment about that, as soon as I ended up graduating high school, and like this is like a true story. Graduated, before I ended up graduating, I was in track team, fast. All right. I ended up getting a full ride to UCLA.
Damn.
I couldn't go to the UCLA or to the school / college because I didn't take my SAT. And the funny moment about it is I ended up getting transferred from Ramona to continuation, from continuation to Arlington High School. All right. And when I got there, and this is in my 11th grade year, like the end of the last semester, 11th grade year, the counselor literally goes and states this to my mom and me, like, yeah, he don't need to take the SAT. He's not going to go nowhere. Like, literally stated, I'm not going to go nowhere. Like, the best he'll probably get is a community college. That is it. You know? Not knowing that my GPA at that time was about 2 points, 2.4, 2.5. And I ended up understanding why the counselor said it.
So he was holding you back, though.
He was holding me back, but in my mind, it's like he might, you know, he is right. Like I did have a messed up 9th and 10th grade year. I couldn't pass geometry for nothing.
Right.
When I tell you I could not pass geometry, I could not pass geometry.
Right.
But I was a genius at anything else. You put me in algebra, like, you know, like acing it, business math. Like I was so good with like numbers that I did not do no homework, and I just came in. I literally did not go to class. Or the morning class. It was like a first period,
just
zero
naturally
period.
gifted.
Naturally gifted. Walked in, take the test, walk out. Now I was acing the test. It was business math. I was acing them. Was walking out, you know, and it was like one of those. His attendance is really bad. Like, you know, he doesn't do no homework, but I ended up getting a B because of my testing.
Right.
You know, so
you had a full ride and you couldn't go because of that.
Couldn't go because I did not take the SAT. My track coach literally went back to the counselor. He didn't like him in the first place, right? And when I say he started cussing him out, he was cussing this man out. He was going in on him. But it was one of those things, ain't nothing you can do, because I ended up ending my whole my school year with a 3.3.
Nice.
And, you know, and started before the whole thing with me getting to community college, or not community college, but the little transfer school, that I was at like a 1 point something. Right. I raised it to a 2.4, and then someone said I wasn't gonna be able to do anything and make it or go anywhere further. I got it to a 3.3, and then I had a full ride, and then I went to Riverside Community College. But before I went there, I was working at Vaughn's. I wasn't even thinking about going to school.
So you're proving people wrong your whole life.
Oh, whole time. And I was like, in Vaughn's, that was probably the only job I ever go back to. So if anybody ever sees me at Vaughn's, just know that I'm very happy.
Do you feel like that kind of like you have a chip on your shoulder to prove just from like all these experiences early on?
As of right now, nah. Because it's, you know, everybody knows like the best revenge is you can go ahead and say progress.
Amen.
Yeah. And I definitely made all the progress in the world.
Do you think that's one of those moments that you look back on and you're almost happy that that course played out so that you could end up where you are now? To say if you maybe went to college, you'd be in a different position doing something totally different than where you are at now.
Truly believe that. Because like I felt like if I did do the whole college thing, there's that 50-50 chance, as in what if I ended up getting hurt with my legs? Like, you know, right. pull a muscle. And I'm like very stubborn when it comes to like stretching. I don't like stretching. And I know like a lot of people yell at me for it. I really suck at it, man. Like, you know, like if you place me like in a yoga mat, like I'll be the one that's like really in there, like sweating, dying, in pain, crying, probably complaining the whole time, you know. But you end up understanding where you didn't have stuff. Like I stated, like from that situation of them like saying no, or we're not going to help you, or we're not going to do this or do something. Because I was very outspoken, and I know it's like well,
you're a loud person.
Yeah,
you say how it is.
Like I promise you, it's like if it's on my mind, I'm telling you. If I feel like it's wrong, I'm telling you. And the situation where it kind of like I always bumped heads with a lot of coaches, because when I see something wrong, I'm saying something. If they're treating something or treating somebody wrong, I'm gonna say something, you know. And they're calling me like because I was really good at football. I promise you, I was really good at football, and I was like the Terrell Owens on the team.
Oh damn!
Like, you know, like because you know, like when I went to Arlington, they had favorites, and we gotta remember this. Like, I worked my butt off to be that guy. Like, you know, like when I was at Ramona, before I ended up like getting kicked out of the whole school and everything, I was getting ready to start. I was the fastest dude in Riverside. I was the guy. Like, you know, this guy, and it wasn't no like jockey stuff. I was not on that jockey. It was just one of those, I'm gonna prove you wrong. Like, you know, because right now there's my boy named Chris Camacho, and he has a twin brother named Dario Camacho. Chris Camacho is a trainer or a personal trainer for Cormier. All right, DC. Like literally his personal trainer, you know, whole thing. That's basically like we're like family. That's my one of my good best friends. Like, you know, him and his brother. They kind of like took me under their wing because why they definitely took me under their wing, because me and them bumped heads, right? Because they were the jocks, the
that
school.
Was back in school.
Oh yeah, this is back in school. This is 9th/10th grade going on, and this is where I end up figuring out like I'm good at basketball, like, you know, like the basketball kicked in, and I was really great at football. I can run, I can do, you know, I can do the whole thing. And I bumped heads with those two, and it got to that moment that my pops ended up knowing their dad, and then it just kind of like broke that little animosity between us two, you know. And it was like, all right, you guys are going to be like brothers now, and ever since then we've just been training. Like they took me under their wing, like kind of watching over me and everything.
Right.
You know, kind of like guiding me in the right direction. And it's like, all right, cool.
Teamed up like the Avengers.
Oh, just like the Avengers,
The
you know?
Avengers. What's your favorite Avenger?
Man, I'm not going to lie. I don't like, or it was to the moment that it was the Hulk, and then that last movie broke my heart.
I haven't seen it yet.
I don't want to break. I don't want to spoil it, but it broke my heart. So just know that Hulk. I'm not a fan of Hulk no more. Okay,
Man.
so I'm gonna have to go with right now Spider-Man. It was Blade, but they don't have him in there, so it can't be Blade. And I was trying to be the new Blade, but they got a whole new guy to be playing Blade. They said I'm too light skin, so like, so it's gotta hurt. But you know, it's too light skinned and too small, I guess. You know, but hey, next. You know, the next generation, I'm gonna tell them that they need to change that. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, Andre, your story is like one of just like you're athletic your whole life. You're playing multiple sports. You're training. You're in top shape. I mean, you had a track career. You're playing football. Like you're doing it all. Where did you end? Like, so basically, before this whole UFC journey, you went through some pretty tough times.
Yes.
Can you talk about that time when I believe you were homeless? And how did that happen? Like, how did you end up in that situation?
Well, truth be told, I kind of had to end up taking it where the whole drama of the court, because I literally like walked away from the whole fighting and everything. You know, this is where my son was born and everything. You know,
how old were you?
This is literally 6 years ago.
6 years.
All right, so it's 2000 and
So you're like 24.
yeah, nah, 25.
25.
See, now look, got me over adding up, making me feel old right now.
Wow, you just crushed it.
But yeah, so it was like 2013, the whole like drama, if you can go ahead and state it. Literally walked away from fighting because I was doing boxing first, you know. Moved away from that. The factors in, wanted to be a father, the whole nine. So that's where we're starting off. Basically, my son's mother walked away, or we broke up. Right. And I can like literally dig into that where the rights and wrongs are, but we broke up, going to court, and how that ended up ending was favoritism. And it kind of was like where I lived, how the judges kind of looked at it was, you know, you live in a poor side. Like anybody from basically like Corona and out, you're not you know, up the class. So you can go ahead and say it, and I can go ahead and say this is like colored thing, but I'm not that type. I don't like to be that guy, you know, especially since I'm like raised around all around type thing. Like my stepmom, different. My older brother's mom, Mexican. And you gotta literally kind of go around it where I am around everything where I cannot be that guy to say, hey, I don't like somebody, or hey, I can't. Because if I do that, I go back home to the people I'm saying I don't like. And it's like, it's unrude, you know. But you end up understanding who likes you and who doesn't like you, who doesn't really get along with certain people or not certain people. So now it comes down to, are you able to be around them, you know? And me, I'm the type of guy that don't mind, because I end up understanding, like my mom ends up like beating it in me. Not literally beating me, but like, you know, like beating it into me where, you know, you just forgive people. Like, you know, you move on, you kind of let things go. And this is where I never talked down about my son's mother, even when she did what she done and continued and, you know, pushing me out.
People are human and things happen and life goes on. But that's a crazy experience to go through at 25 years old. Like,
and it broke me.
I mean, it must have. That would break anyone, man. Yeah. That's crazy.
And I'm not gonna lie, I was thinking of like dark times. Just think dark.
Real dark.
Yeah, real dark. And away from it.
Did you have any support during that time? Was family helping?
My family was helping me, but it's only only so much they can do, you know, because it's like, you know, because you know, at the time balanced like a lot of whole faith thing and everything, and my son was my faith, you know, right. And for them to just rip it and take it away from me, you know,
that burned deep.
It burned.
You think about that to this day, like every day you remember that feeling. And
you know,
I mean, there's a lot of people that have probably been in a similar situation that your story is going to really resonate with them.
You know, and I ended up believing them, because it already starting to come to me like, hey, they're reaching out, like I've been through it, and even them sharing their stuff to me, and I think they're like more surprised that like I open up their messages and read it, you know, because it's like, oh, someone famous reading my stuff, you know, and it's not knowing it's like I actually do check my mail or my inboxes, or I'm still going through them because I got like a lot, but I end up reaching out to the people that like end up just talking deep or just saying, hey, I look up to you because you don't even understand. I'm going through a bad patch. And it's like so interesting, like how they just open up to me and like they don't know me. They just know me that, hey, you have a story. My story's similar. And like, say for instance, like the whole homeless thing, like, people reached out like, man, I end up losing everything and I thought it was all over for me. And then I go ahead and see you smiling and doing something that you loved. And the funny thing is you came from the same spot that I came from. Like, like me, like growing up, like I said, my parents, like my mom, pops, they didn't have everything, and this is like one of the reasons why we kept moving, because we didn't have everything. It even came to the moment like we were all like sleeping in a hotel / car / hey, can we sleep on your couch type thing, and then some of the family members will, like, we ended up getting a spot, and this is where I kind of came like that forgiving, family, more orientated, that anywhere we moved, majority
You're
of our family,
nomadic. You're just figuring it out as you go.
yeah, we're just going, like, I promise you. It's like it was like times where like our cousins were living with us, and it was just like, this is family, like, this is where, they say your first friends or your family, your cousins,
I agree, yeah.
Yeah, and
blood does not make you family.
Yeah,
too.
blood doesn't. It doesn't. And so, yeah, so just raising off of that, like, I'm a very family orientated person. And then when I come across someone else that's not very family orientated, that's automatically going to build up issues. That's going to build up a problem. That's going to be, nah, we're your family now, or I'm your family. We got to do this together. And it's like, it's an extension where we got to figure it out. Like, all right, we can do that. We can do this, or just do extra stuff where you can able to do everything.
Yeah, that's true. My dad always jokes around. He's like, I never ever talk down to anybody who's homeless or living on the street because I'm 2 paychecks away from being in their shoes.
I like that. I like that a lot. And it's like, that's the mentality. Like, you have that mentality, like, in my eyes, you'll go far. Because like anybody always like, oh, I look up to you. First thing I end up telling, my first response is, like, you look up to me, all right, or I look up to you and I want to be like you, and then be like, nah, what I want you to do is aim to be better than me.
So you're in that situation and you start to, you're in this super dark time. I mean, at the time you probably think there's no way you're ever going to get out of this place. I mean, it's just super dark. You're going through hardcore depression. I mean, love's at stake. Your future's at stake. You don't know what the hell is going on. You see some of your friends probably at your age that are doing all sorts of things. It seems like they got their life all figured out, and you're like, you don't know what's going on.
I promise you.
That must have been crazy. At what point did you start? When was your first fight after that? Like, when did you start fighting during that time? Were you fighting throughout that?
Oh, I actually started fighting. Truth told, it was that the last day of or one of the last times of me being in court, the judge like looked down at me, and the look that he gave me, it was like, you have no value, because I literally, like I stated when I said I walked away from the whole fighting. It was me in court. I was going to a 9-to-5 tower job, going to work. Anything I made was going to court. Everything I was doing was going to court. Fixing a car to get to court. Like, I promise you, like, going to work, what are you about to do tomorrow? Going to court. like it was literally like I lived in the court. Like, everybody knew who I was. They just, hey, Dre back. Hey, hi. But yeah, so it came down to that moment where when he looked down at me, it was like, all right, I gotta make a difference. I have to make a change. So it came in like September of 2015 is where I made my like change in life.
You remember that day vividly?
Oh, vividly. Like people didn't end up understanding when I ended up fighting. I ended up like going in like the tears, because it was like the whole tear moment of like, one, that the people that did was supporting me from the gate and from the beginning, they were there, they're watching, they had my back. These are the people that ended up loving, and that was, and note this is me literally turning from a dark place. Like, I didn't date anybody for 2 years, didn't talk to anybody, didn't want to end up seeing people, hey, you want to come outside to play today? Dre, come outside. You know, we got a cake for you. No, I'm good. I don't want to eat no cake. You know, didn't go out. Didn't end up talking to nobody. Like, kept it really short where my circle really dimmed down where if you're not in the house, same house as me, or my cousin, I wasn't talking to you.
Right.
You know? And
it's like that moment in the movie where, you know, dude's sitting there looking up and the guy's just looking down. I'm like, you ain't going to never get nowhere. And then the music starts and it starts going like bum, 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 bum. And all of a sudden it just goes. The next 2 years is him just pumping out weights, getting crazy.
It was just like that. Like literally people don't get that. Like I'll be in the mirror, like talking to myself. Like when I say it got like dark and sad, like I'll literally be in there talking to myself. Like, what are you doing today? Who are you? You know, are you going to get better today? You know, and then next you know it became to that moment of you need to be better than you was yesterday. And then that turned into, were you better than yesterday? If not, we got a lot of work to do. You know, and then next you know it, here I am at the gym. Here I am learning, you know, how to put everything together, learning what's the fastest way to get to the top. And this, my advice to everybody is do what you love. Like, and this is literally do what you love. Because if you don't love what you do, you're just going to end up hating it. Like you're going to hate everything about it. When you wake up, you're going to be like, I don't want to get up. And if you wake up and talk about you don't want to get up to go, that's something that's like a problem. Like you don't love what you're doing. You don't. You know? And
so is fighting to you kind of like meditative almost?
There it is. There it is. It really is. It's like the way I look at it, it's my home. Because it's so comfortable with me that I've been fighting from a young age, like 7. Like, you know, like I said, we've been moving a lot. Me fighting with myself, me fighting with my pops, me fighting with the family, you know, people with the schools, even like everybody ended up telling me you ain't gonna do something, so I had to fight. You're not gonna be no one. I had to fight. They end up saying that he's not grateful, but in reality, I'm like grateful for everything. Like people don't understand. Like I didn't have everything, so I'm grateful for everything that I get. The smallest thing, like this tea that you got me, and like I'm so grateful for it. It's like it's life to me.
Yetis, by the way, are fantastic.
It really is.
So it's
it
like
really
amazing.
I took like I burned my tongue on this. It was worth it.
Like, I feel you on that though. That's a big thing. That right there, that quality of in someone is so important, to be able to be so appreciative of the fakeness of these green little plants and just appreciate the greenness and just every little aspect of your life, to appreciate every little thing.
That's true.
I mean, that's like pure happiness. That's true happiness. Because I mean, you're on the your freaking future is crazy, but like you have to be these values that your whole life has taught you to this day. You've built this value set that's going to take you to be able to handle it. Because I mean, damn, dude, it's happening quick. I mean, your last fight, when you got bumped up to the main card, was that a huge surprise, by the way?
Actually, it was. Because I was like, man, they got me first. Like, I was heartbroken. You know, I didn't understand it. I was like, but it's well deserved. I was like, off my last performance, I get it, you know. And it's like not knowing, like, if you knew the big picture, but I don't want to be that guy that it just, hey, this is my drama. Put me back up here, you know. So I took the bullet. I was like, all right. You know. But when they put me on there, it was like straight happy moment.
Got to that main card and you're just like, I got to perform. Gotta get out there and do it right now.
Like you should have seen it. Like, cause we're like walking the city of Greenville, I promise you. And it was hot. This is me actually finally get the walk. Cause we already got done weighing in. I got to eat and everything. So I'm like walking. And then I bumped into my boy Shoe. So Shoe is basically the Reebok handler. Like, you know, he ends up packing the bags, gives out, you know, to all the fighters and everything. And he's the one that let me know, like, hey, I got your bag first, because, you know, I was first fight. So he had to get my name first. So I was like, all right, cool. He was like, yeah, you know, I hooked it up. You know, I got your bag. So we're walking and I ended up meeting his whole family. And this is how he broke down the news to me. Oh, hey, I just wanted to tell you something. I don't think I'm supposed to tell you, but since we're boys, I'm going to tell you. They talk about, or no, they say they're talking like they moved you to the main card. And I looked at them like, what are you talking about? They moved you to the main card. But, you know, you didn't hear nothing from me, you know, but this is my dad. This is my mom. Like, you know, like, so I ended up meeting like the whole family, and like they heard about my story, like, you know, the whole thing, and my son and everything. They're already like fans of me in Brazil, you know, and I just met them today, and they were like it was like when I met the mom, it's like she was like already hugging me in tears, like, you know, like, oh, but it wasn't like that sad tears, it was the happy tears, like, I'm so happy for you, you know. And then, but yeah, it's like the whole Shoe family is amazing, you know?
Big shout out to the Shoes.
Big shout out to Shoe.
Fantastic humans. Were you like that first shot you got in Brazil? So that was your first UFC debut. I mean, how many fighters actually make it to the UFC? Let's talk about. I mean, do you know the number?
No.
Like if you think about how many people make it to like the NFL, it's like one in, I think, like 100,000. It's something crazy.
That's true.
I would love to see that number. I mean, you got the real shot and you're going against a defending champ. What was that like? So you get flown. What was the news like when you got your first UFC shot?
Oh, see, like, I probably should end up loving to like tell this story, because when I got the news, and you know, Matt could be like literally the witness of the story. When I got the news, because I got it from my coach Merle, and I wasn't excited. I wasn't excited at all, you know, because or let me break it down. So he goes and says, "Hey, I got some good news for you, but I also got a problem." And it was like, "All right, what's the good news? What do you think about fighting in Brazil in the UFC?" "Oh, that's fantastic. I'm down," you know, but the problem is you got to change your manager. I said, "No." So I'm gonna go ahead, and I was like, "You all right?" I was like, "No, I already told you who I'm rolling with." And I was like, "And if it ain't Matt, I'm good." So reality, I turned UFC down.
Oh, what?
Full fact, I turned it down. I ended up hanging up off the phone. Or before I ended up hanging, he was like, "Man, I can't believe this. I'm shocked. Like, this whole time, I thought, you're going to just do what you got to do." And then, like I stated, it's like that loyalty is big to me. Like I stated, this cup and that the grass we were talking about, even if it's fake, I'm looking at it as someone actually made this, really colored it. You know, I'm looking at the small details of, that's so cool. I would buy it because someone put real effort in there to make it look like real grass. And instead of him, he's like, my coach was on that, just buy it. And you can just go buy one anywhere, you know. Like, I can color and give it to you, and
so
it's like,
you get this opportunity to do it under this circumstance, so you have to go through this new management. But when you first, I mean, Dodge first, what a fantastic human. I gotta say.
No, super
how
cool.
How did you first meet him?
To be honest, I ended up like seeing him around a few times through oh damn boy, Jamal Emmers, a few times, and then I ended up seeing him like where I really just sat and talked to him. It was after my LFA fight. Jamal was there. He was fighting there. He was there. We were chopping it up, and this is when he was with KO Reps.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we chopped it up. I signed with him, and only where I signed, it was because of Matt. Like, literally because of Matt. So I'm like, all right, I'll sign, etc. I ended up having my CES fight for the belt and everything against Dennis Paiva. Shout out to Dennis, because literally to this day, my toughest fight. That's my boy. He fights, I believe, the end of this week. I'm excited. I wanted to go, but hey, shout out to Dennis Paiva. So, which his name is AKA Sweetbread. Probably one of the coolest names.
That is one of the coolest names ever.
The coolest names out. Like, I probably when I was like Afro Monkey, me and him were like fighting for names and not even know we were fighting for names. But hey, like, points to him. So I ended up winning that fight. And this is where, Matt's there. I'm even met Matt's dad and everything. So it was good. Everything, great feeling. He was saying, like, on a random moment, I just ended up stating like, "Hey, Matt, just know that I joined KO Reps because of you. So, I'm here with you, brother." Like, it was just simple, point blank. And I didn't notice I said this because it was like after my fight, and I'm like, woozy, drowsy, I'm out of it, And my cousin ended up bringing it up to me like later on, like, "Yeah, you remember when that random moment you just out of nowhere said, anywhere he goes, you going?" And it was like, and I didn't know he was getting ready to lead KO Reps. I just told him like straight out, like, "Matt, wherever you go, I'm going. Like, I'm your boy, etc. You got me here. This is what's up." And I'm like a type of person that sticks with his word, no matter how you end up looking at it. Like,
well, it must be so tough too. Like,
it is.
To find a good manager in general. That must be so challenging. I mean, here's someone that, you're putting your life in line. You're putting your life out there. I mean, you got to have someone there that you trust and believe in and just knows that has your back, like a truly good person.
Yeah, it's true. And it's like exactly how you like placed it. That's how I went about it. Cause like I know the big picture. It's like I'm 30. At the time I was 30, like, you know, going on to 31.
Yeah.
Thing.
You got to get going.
Yeah, got to get going. I understand the whole hustling because my pops was a hustler. My mom, my auntie, a hustler. Like because, you know, we had to get money. We had to eat. So they're, you know, they did what they did, you know, and my pops, since he was like that, I get who's trying to hustle me and not trying to hustle me, you know, and like,
you can smell a hustler.
Yeah, I can smell it coming, you know. I was like, I'm gonna play you. Like, oh, don't play me because I know you're trying to play me. You can play them, but don't play me, you know. So it kind of came down to that moment where, that KO Reps, the owner of it, I haven't heard him talk to him. Only thing I'll get like will be we're sending like only text I'll get from him is like, yeah, we're sending Bad Boys gear to you. Okay, thank you.
There wasn't that human connection.
No human connection. It was literally, I'm sending this and it's me saying, okay, thank you. I truly appreciate it. You know, like, you know, that was our relationship. But I'm seeing Matt face to face as I'm looking at you right now. You know, it's like we're holding a conversation. He's over here buying me lunch, buying me dinner. I met his dad. Like, you know, he's an awesome person.
Hardcore Italian.
Oh, dude. He really is.
Hardcore
cool.
Italian, yeah.
And, you know, and he was like, I even gave him his full shout out after the fight. And, you know, so I know I made it, like, I was like, I made him smile. So I was like, hey, that's a freaking win for me, you know? So, yeah, he was like, cool. So it came into the moment of he leaving, and it was like 4th of July weekend/week and day that, I was up in Fresno, that they were like, yeah, I'm getting ready to leave, et cetera. He ended up giving his notice and the whole thing to Oren. That's his name. KO Reps Oren. All right. So gave him that whole, hey, I'm leaving and I'm taking Dre. Like, you know, this is where now out of nowhere I finally talked to Oren, you know.
So you're going through all this drama, like you're in the middle of something. You don't want to be a part of this. You're just like, this is my boy. Let's go. Like, get out of the way. Yeah. And it's crazy too, because I just want to throw a quick shout out to the Dodge family. I mean, dude, I've known him my whole life, right? Growing up next to him. He watches so much sports, man. His whole life, he is just in it. Like, he is born for this position. I believe he'll become one of the biggest agencies in the planet. And I mean, he has so many good things to say about you. And when it comes to character is so important to just develop over the time. Like I said, you win that first fight. What was that like when you won that first fight against that in Brazil? What goes through your head when you win a fight, like an opener like that?
Especially in Brazil, that crowd's tough.
Oh, definitely tough. And I like won the fans over. Like, people don't get that. Like, you don't really understand, like, winning people that end up, we got to hate you because, hey, it's Brazil. Like, you know, this is our hometown. Hindenbrow is our guy. We got to hate you, you know? And then it's like, I beat him, and then instead of you hearing boos, it's, you know, good job.
Were you surprised by that to hear applause?
Oh, obrigado. That's all I was hearing. No, you know, let's take pictures, the whole nine. And it wasn't really like a surprise because, you know, they knew, like, you know, like, one, they knew that Henning came over 6 pounds, you know, the whole nine. They knew that even though he's from here, he's that legend. And I gave the fans a fight. Like, you know, Brazil is what they're known for. It's that they love, like, that's their sport. It's fighting and soccer, you know. So by it being big out there to them, they respect everybody, but they just know this is our house. So we gotta, you know, protect our house. But just know after we can talk to you, you know. And as long as you end up understanding that, you're good. And me, that's why I went into it like, oh, I understand it. But I ended up winning them over, and to the moment that they ended up loving me because I made it a fight. Like, I made it one of those, I escaped them from getting, you know, armbarred. People don't really escape Hendon Brown from getting armbar. It's a black belt because everybody knows, you know.
When you're in that moment, can you like replay every moment of that fight right now in your brain?
Oh yeah, and it's like really funny too because it's like I know when he ended up cracking me great into like my stomach area, and it was like off of a push kick. He stepped to the side, pow, felt it, and he knew he seen it. because he started chasing me. This is where the moment he started chasing me. And then it was like, out of that split second, my favorite moves, step back, pop with the 2, caught him. And I dropped him. And I know he was hurt, but it was one of those hurts that, dang, that was a good shot. But I'm okay, you know, but I dropped him. And then when I went in for the kill, this is something like I've been working on, like, don't go for the kill. Because I went in for the kill. I promise you, I was getting ready to drop the hammer fist. And he must have spent around and gave me the eye contact. Or right, like his body spent, but his like whole head was like looking at me. And then he like turned around and it was like cockeyed. I promise you, he was cockeyed. But as soon as his head turned around, he was like straight vision on me. And I said, oh, you tricked me. You got me. I was like, you got me, you know? And it was like already too late. So I had to finish the hammer, you know, hammer fist. It came to the moment that it was like all jits. And like I said, I can roll with black belts. I promise you I can. And with Henan, I did. I rolled with him. I can survive, you know? And now since we have a whole new Gracie, our gym is basically off of Gracie now. We got Professor Sean. Amazing dude.
Are you referring to the coach?
Oh, referring to the coach right now. Like he came in, and in the 6 months that I had to take that dang long break that ended up breaking my heart, he ended up improving my ground game like 100 folds. But beforehand, I was able to survive. Now it's like I can roll with black belts and even look for my own submissions. Like, you know, and like the last fight, it was another black belt. He had me on the ground, and my mind was only just to get up. But there was a split second where I ended up shooting for a triangle, like, you know. And not only that I could have ended up doing leg locks. Not comfortable with the legs right now, but I'm getting there.
Right.
You know, so from that fight to this fight, like those, like you stated, like my last fight was probably one of my best performances, and people ended up expecting that as a knockout, but I already knew Brazilian guy has heart. Like, you know, his heart pushed him through that fight.
Warriors.
Oh yeah, beyond
that
warriors.
last fight, he was just taking hits from you and just charging forward. Still, he's like,
With
"Come on,
pride.
let's do it."
Yeah,
Let's do
with
it.
pride, and then it was. But I already kind of like walked into the moment of my mindset was I was gonna teach a lesson. Like, 1, I can go 3 rounds. 2, I have the best striking in this weight class. I can throw, you know, and I don't mind exchanging, you know. It just shows, or 2 even, or the third one, it's me. I can able to roll with you. I can get up, you know.
What I was most impressed with on your third fight was that first takedown defense you had.
Oh yeah.
You just separated those legs, held on, stayed up, and escaped it. I was like, yeah, he's been putting the work in.
You see, like, and it's funny too, and I'm like happy that you end up seeing it, because like most people, they look at it, because you know, like the whole interview where people are like talking about the fight. Yeah, we don't know if his ground game improved. 1, that little moment right there.
Oh, I saw it right
improved.
then and there. I was like, yep.
Yeah, and then me being on the ground, getting back up, or to the moment of, hey, he put like basically 2 submission modes on me, and I escaped those. I just made full improvement. And note this was a black belt that did this. And then if you go to my first fight, it was a black belt that put me in an arm bar, not a purple belt, not a blue belt. These are black belts. You could obviously tell that there was something wrong with me in December fight, because it's stuff happens. Things end up happening. No excuses, but it happened. Yeah.
What do you think happened there?
As I was saying,
And we're referring for the guests listening. So Andre's 2-1. You know, won his opener, lost the second one, then came back and has recently won the third one. What do you think happened in the second fight?
Second one, I just ended up showing that I'm human. Like,
Right.
things can get to me. Like,
Right.
you know, and when I say things can get to me, I had a court for my son about taking my rights away. You know, and that was going to be 3 days after my birthday. My birthday's January 21st, and I had court on the 24th. Okay. And, you know.
So you're thinking about this the whole time.
I'm thinking about it, because I know one thing is when you know, the first rule in like MMA, don't leave it to the judge's hands. And I already knew my life was in the judge's hands basically 25 days later. Like, literally. Like, literally in the hands. Right. And
that must have given you some flashbacks back to 25 years old.
Oh, beyond.
Just like those
beyond.
emotions that are ripping through you.
Like, because people don't stand, like, I ended up seeing 7 different judges. These are 7 different judges, and only one judge went literally needled through all the BS. Like, literally knew, oh, you're lying. Oh, you're beyond lying. 2, he ends up showing the proof, so you're even more lying, to the moment of, this shouldn't even went this far, and he should have been in his kid's life this whole time.
How'd you feel when you felt like that guy finally got you? Like you got freed from jail almost.
I want to tell you it was like that, but I'll be lying. Like, truth be told, I start crying. Like, I really broke down to the moment of, if I would have had you a year ago, none of this stuff would have happened. And note this was just a restraining order.
Does your son live in California?
No. My son moved to Alaska, which they allowed, and basically like this, when they moved to Alaska, they gave me like vague information. It's kind of like me saying, hey, I live in California, and you say this in Vegas, oh, where do you live? Live in California. Okay, where?
I live in Area 51.
Where there? And it's like literally from San Francisco / Sacramento all the way down to San Diego. That's California. So when you say Alaska, where in Alaska?
Yeah, like, where's he at?
And then the time I got information about Alaska, I get a random phone call, and this is the CES fight in June. So I got a random call about 2 weeks before that fight that, hey, we live in Fort Lauderdale. I want to change, what do you think about giving up your rights to me? And note, this is my son's mother's husband asking me to give my son's, my rights away. And I told him no. I'm like, no, how's my boy? Where's my boy? Can I talk to my boy? And it's like, well, I feel uncomfortable. And, it's like, I understand. He's like the middleman, but that middleman just jumped in. It's kind of like this. You have, no, I'm not going to place it like that, but just say we have a bad guy, right? He's getting ready to rob the bank, and the one that's, he's the driver. And the driver's the one that dropped him off and picked him up and drove away. My man's the driver. It's like, I know you're robbing this bank, and I know I'm about to drive you. So it's like, even though we get stopped, I can't go and tell him, hey, I have nothing to do with it. You do have everything to do with it because you're driving right now. But I can understand if you didn't know it and you're just like trying to play the blind eye of it. Okay, I get that. Because, if you go to the store and they just go in there and rob the store and you didn't know they're going to rob the store, it's a different story. I get it. You were just in the wrong place, wrong time, and you're the one that's driving, so it just looks like you are guilty. But this is where they step up and say, hey, that's wrong. Tell them, But in this situation, you're part of the bad life, and I get it, like, points for you being there for my son. Like, I'm not going to knock him, not going to do anything or try to be mean about it, because what I look like talking down on you, and I haven't talked down on my son's mother, So in my eyes,
so
hey,
Eli's your rock, man.
Yeah, that's everything.
He's your heart, he's your soul, he's your performance.
Like, oh yeah, it's literally here because of him. People notice me, or I'm here because of him. Like,
I know he's got his own Instagram now.
Oh, definitely does.
Shout out to Eli Graham. Got to add this to the video afterwards. Follow the homie.
You feel me? Follow the homie, please. But like on that part, my boy, that is my rock. Like, people don't end up understanding. It's like what I was explaining earlier today, that I had a teammate which fought yesterday. Didn't end up winning, but he won in my eyes because he got there. He did some stuff that other people haven't done. And he kind of came from the same past that I had, the not having nothing, people looking down, and when you're trying to ask for help, no one wants to help type thing. And don't note this, like, I am not a fan of asking for help, because like, the way I look at it is I don't like
you're fine, bro. Yeah, like, you're good.
Yeah,
you'll get by your whole life. You've been figuring it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna figure it out. And then the thing about it is, like, for me, by you guys knowing that I'll figure it out, if I end up asking for something or asking for help, I need it. Right. Because I'm not the type of person that will just ask. So
that's crazy. So man, whew, hell yeah. Let's go, Eli. Let's go.
So yeah.
When you get in that ring, so this is something that I'm very curious about, just from looking at these fights. I'm you and a few others, but mostly you are one of the reasons I've kind of fallen in love with this sport recently. Like, and Sky over
This is
here, it's
nice.
big. When I see you come in and like you know the whole crowd's like it's just you versus one guy, and you're coming in to a freaking octagon, and your goal is to literally kill each other essentially, so that they can no longer go forward. I like that one quote. I forgot who said it, but it was like one of the sports is like, you know, you play basketball, you play football, you play golf, whatever, but you don't play MMA.
You don't.
You fight MMA.
You really
And you
do.
got this smile. You're laughing. You're like all good vibes, feeling fantastic.
Getting
Even
shared by UFC's Instagram page. That's awesome.
Oh my god, that dance! Like,
fat,
were you working
yeah.
on that?
Oh, not that one. That one kind of like, but like this, like, you know, me and my cousin, we go anywhere, we got moves, and, you know, and these are just a move that just kicks in. Hey, you feeling the vibe? Go, boom.
But
Yeah.
then when then like you're smiling, and then the second that crowd goes, the second that thing goes, you turn into a different person. You're straight up like, can you walk us through your mind? Like, what goes on in that second when you're walking up into the octagon to the point where they close it, to the point where they ring the bell?
Walking, happy that I'm here, and I know that I'm gonna end up still in the show. So it's all smiles, and it's always, that's like one thing that I end up doing, because basically all eyes are gonna be on me. It don't matter how you end up looking at it, it's on you. You know, for that brief second, most seconds, that's what hungers. That's the hunger of what you pop on a plate, and, you know, it's kind of like when people make basically Thanksgiving food.
Oh,
You know, and you know you can't touch it yet, but you're walking, and it's like you know, you just, oh, I'm about to get that. This is what I'm eating first. I'm going there, you know, and then after I get there, I'm going here. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put it all on the plate, like, you know. So it's like, that's how it is when, you know, you're walking. It's Thanksgiving food, like, you know, you walk into the cage, and then when it ends up shutting, it's showtime. Because, you know, and people always ask, like, do you get nervous? No, I don't. And the way I look at it is like, do you ever get nervous when you're at your own house? Like, you know,
do you get like a heightened sense of just sense, like a heightened
Yes.
sense of everything?
heightened sense, because, you know, it's like when you're in your own house and you know you're alone and you hear something, you know, first thing it is, you turn it around, like, hold on, what's going on? Like, you know, I know I'm the only one here. So what it is, you're alert. Everything's alert.
Do you
like,
even
you know,
notice people in the crowd, or you're like so dialed in on that one person, it's almost like quiet? Or
It's
do you
quiet.
hear the crowd? Do you feed off the crowd, or could you care less if they were there or not?
Nah, I don't feed off the crowd. Like, truly, like you said, I don't hear it. And only people, because, you know, it's like you got to shut them off where you are able to hear your corner. So I'm already working on just hearing the voices that I need to hear.
How vital is the corner in a fight? Like your corner, like how vital is it to just keeping your head and your composure, and like the little chats they give you like after those rounds? Are those critical for you?
Oh, definitely. Because December fight and last fight, the two different things. I didn't feel comfortable in the December fight. Not only that, I was like really sick, the whole nine. And
Everything was going wrong. Could have went wrong.
when I say everything is going wrong, it was wrong. And the problem was, it's about being comfortable. If you're not comfortable, you know, it's not your house. And this is what I mean, like being your house. Like, you know, when you're sitting on your toilet, you're comfortable. But, you know,
It's
when
a
you
throne
you know, you sit in like
with
a
their
public
squatty
bathroom.
potty.
The squatty potty.
Working on
You
that
know?
sponsorship right now.
Hey, you know, but like, you know, when you like in a public bathroom, it's kind of like who's walking in, you know, who's knocking on the door, you know, you feel rushed and stuff like that, but you're in your own bathroom, you ain't rushed, you know, you're enjoying yourself. Yeah. So that fight, my brother or my cousin wasn't in my corner. I already felt uncomfortable, like, you know, and these are the people that will tell me, hey, you're sick. Because I was sick. I was literally throwing up. I was, you know, like literally on the toilet, throwing up, you know, shitting the whole nine. Like, I was bad. And no one's like, hey, you're sick. No one's telling that, you know? So in my eyes, it's normal. I'm used to it. You know, I probably overate. But the thing is, I wasn't really eating anything. Nothing was holding. When I did eat something, I was sick.
So in this next fight, you were just like, boom. It was your
Definitely.
house. You
It was
felt
my
good.
house, family's there.
Squad was there.
You know, the right people, you know, in the corner. I'm feeling great. Like, you know, not only feeling great, that I'm fully energetic, and on top of that, I had like something to prove. But every fight you have something to prove, you know. Every fight you gotta be getting better. It's progress. You got to be progressing better than last, you know.
When you're throwing hands, I mean, like the prep before these competitions must be insane, right? Because you want to mimic that same intensity when you're in that fight. Do you think that having a good training camp is like, how vital is it to preparing for any fight?
Oh, definitely vital. You know, and the funny thing is, I'm like kind of like I'm like the opposite. You know, like when they say like people in the training camp, like, oh, you got to mimic it, and you know, you got to go hard sparring, hard this and hard that. Reality, like I'm kind of like the opposite, where I'm in there, I'm like, don't get me wrong, I'm doing my work, you know, but I'm doing the work that you showed me. Like, you know, if you told me, hey, we're over aiming to leg lock, that whole practice, I'm working my butt off the leg lock. I'm not doing nothing extra. I'm doing the leg lock. That's what we learned. If we learned this escape today, I'm doing everything I can for this escape. I'm not doing that whole, hey, we're just going to bump heads because, you know, you're the big dog and I'm the big dog. No, very kind of like passive. Like, you know, like most people be like, hey, I need you
Your
to.
skill training.
Oh, yeah, skill training all day.
Right.
You know, because they be like, yeah, I need you to go really hard with this one guy. And it's like, nah, that's not me.
So the week leading into the fight, this is a question I had. You put all these months of training in. What % ready are you, or how much energy do you have going in the week of? Are you just kind of resting, getting to 100%, or are you still training hard and
Resting,
Yeah.
getting to the 100%. Now it's just like literally, let me just cut the weight, you know, and then
weight cut that's super difficult or what?
it could be, you know, it could be like,
What weight do you sit at before you cut?
everything actually kind of like depends, okay? Because we're talking like, hey, I have nothing lined up and, you know, we got like time. I'm just about to enjoy myself. You know, I'm looking at like 63, 62, you know, like 163, 162. But before I end up, like I had to be at literally about 56/54. That's where I'll be good to start cutting weight. If I'm not at 56, 54, don't even talk to me. Like I can't do anything. But I get to that weight, I'm like perfectly able to burn anything and everything that I need to. Yeah. So that's where it comes down. Like the weight cutting is not bad for me. Like, you know, but sometimes it ends up getting scary because at times I'm looking bigger and buffer or more cut, more ripped. And, you know, to the moment people are like, hey man, like you kind of huge, you know? And then, you know, for you to say that to me, like I'm skinny, you know, it's like, for you to say that to me, it's like, oh man, you got me worried. So I end up changing my diet right then and there. Like, you know, as soon as I end up hearing it. But the most funniest moment was, I went over to Health and Body Nutrition, which is one of my sponsors, guy that runs it, his name's Mike. Shout out to Health and Body Nutrition. Okay. So he ended up telling me like, bro, you looking ripped, you know, you looking buff, go jump on the scale. And I haven't checked the scale for like a good, basically after the last fight that I had, you know, where I had to weigh in like as soon as the day of. So I jumped on it and I'm thinking like, oh, I'm like 63 because I'm like looking really ripped and, you know, big. I jumped on it, it said 58. And the funny moment is I just had like a big bowl of juice from a Juju bar. I don't know if y'all ever heard of Juju bar, but Juju bar is like a acai bowl, you know, yogi bowl.
Acai bowl.
Yeah.
Oof, don't be saying that name around me. It's going to get hot. Big
See?
fan. Big fan.
So this is what I had. And it was like a big one. So guaranteed like a pound and a half off of that. And then also drink a 24 ounce juice from there too, you know? So I ended up pounding this. So on this one, I'm thinking like I was 63. I jumped on it and I was like 58. So that just showed that I was low key 55, 56, like, you know, easy. And I'm like, wow. So me looking big and buff right now doesn't really mean anything. It's just that I'm actually at fighting weight right now, like ready to cut and all that whole nine. So that's where I'm at.
That's what's up. Do you think injury, this is something I'm very curious about when you look at like the recent fight with Santos and Jones. And, you know, Santos like busted his knees during those fights. Injuries when you're fighting, because I think you did you break your hand during one fight?
Yeah. 2018 was all broken hands.
So what's that like? Like when you throw, do you immediately know? Do you feel it break?
Nah, something like that.
Or are you adrenaline just dialed in? Like you could tear your freaking hand off and you would still throw it. Like
I could say it's like a 50-50 because when I broke it, it was gone. But earlier that year, in I want to say it was January, or yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and say it was like in January because I ended up fighting in February. It was so I went against Gustavo, which was a UFC prospect. He's one of Misha Tate's pupils type thing, you know. Yeah, shout out. You know, so he was supposed to beat me, go to UFC. That was the whole plan. And the funny moment was I wasn't even thinking about him beating me or him thinking he was going to beat me the whole line. I was thinking about, hey, y'all put me on the undercard. Like, like, hey, I earned my rights to be like on the main card. Like, cause they had like the TV one and they had some fighters that were on that TV card that shouldn't have been on that TV card. And it was like one of those, I earned it, I worked it, we should be there, and they're like making it a joke, but I was like serious about it. He was like, well, you should be worried about fighting him. I was like, I ain't worried about him. Like, I'm gonna do what I do best. I'm here to bring on the show. Don't worry about it, And it was like, nah. No. Because, it's like I said, he's supposed to be walking on the UFC after he beat me. And I'm trying to get there. So it was like, that was like the perfect fight that should be on TV. But it came in first round, did what I did best and literally hopped over the gate and started screaming. And then like my whole thing was, I started screaming. I'm like over here screaming like, and y'all don't want to put me on the main card. I'm main event. Like, it's like I own King. Like, it was like one of those, like I'm hyped, but it's like, I did my work
like
to
a
be
Denzel
there.
Washington moment.
Oh, it was all Denzel. And like
training day right there.
It was so funny because everybody was like, we didn't know anything you were saying, but we got to record it. Like, he said, you're very passionate, whatever you were saying. Like, but I was very hyped on that. And then come back, I ended up fracturing I had a pinky fracture. But how bad it was just picture a little golf ball on your pinky, or on the hand / it was just a golf ball, and my pastor's back there like trying to numb it or bring it back down, and it was funny too because I was supposed to go to the doctor for it, and I was like, I was like, I already know, because if I go to the doctor's, they're going, we're gonna cast it, and then in this hand, you don't need to cast it like that, like like, you didn't have to do it. So I remember they were like, yeah, they just said check the doctors with a hand. It didn't say right hand or left hand. Just said check the doctor. So I promise you I went to a doctor. Here, this is my hand. Gave him my right hand, And I was like, oh, yeah, you're good. I was like, perfect. All right, see you later. I was like, sign the paper. I'm gone, And I ended up following up where I ended up fighting a guy named Trent Moe. This is on LFA. Shout out to LFA for giving me that opportunity. That was another TV post that was supposed to, they ended up throwing me in, and it was funny too because I was in Vegas eating. I was eating, like I'm talking about burritos at a burrito.
Is that your fave?
Man, and in Vegas, they're known for burritos. Like if you go to Vegas and get burritos, you're happy. So I'm over there eating burrito. They even had like this little half chicken, half steak, and then like half shrimp. And it was like I was digging in, and then I got the call like, yeah, you're gonna fight in 3 weeks, or are you down to fight in 3 weeks? My brother and cousin were like already on that. Nah, don't fight because your hand. And then we looked at the tape. I was like, man, I could beat him with one hand. I promise you. That's literally how it started. I was like, I could beat him with one hand. And they're like, and it was funny too because they said no at first, or before they even looked at the tape. And then they looked at the tape as we both looked. Oh, we're all looking at it. It was like, oh no, you can't beat him. It's like, we see that. You can't beat him. All right, just don't use your left hand.
Is tape time like, sacred time? Is it like you and the boys watching tape? Like, are you all about tape? Do you think that's where, you win outside of the ring versus inside because it's all about whoever's more prepared?
Truth be told, me, I ain't the tape guy. I am not the tape guy. I will not watch it. And if I do, it'll be like a little glimpse. It'll be like, okay. And then I walk away. But to my brother, cousin, and my other coaches, they're on it.
The squad's on it.
Yeah, the squad. So, that's how I look at it. It's like, you guys bring it to the table, whatever I end up needing. That's what happened. And that just luckily when I saw Trent Moe, it was like I could beat it with one hand, and went to that fight and literally did it with one hand. Like if you end up like watching the fight, I was using my left hand. It was more like slaps. you know. But I already told him, like, before we walked out, I was like, I only got about 3 good punches in this hand, you know, and I used those 3 good punches perfectly. And it was like a uppercut that started it, you know, because I tried to throw like 2 twos and I actually ended up, so correction, I had 3 good punches in the back. I ended up hitting the pad and hurt it. So I was like, dang, I only got 2 now, right? So literally, I only had like 2 good punches on my left hand. So I go out there and it's like, I threw the 2, partial like glimpse. It was like good spotting, you know, and it ended up leading into like another moment where I did like a jumping uppercut, and a jumping uppercut popped him, and that shook the whole fight up, and that was it.
It's
And
crazy. It's crazy to me because I just, when you look at these fighters, when I see you fight, I mean, like, man, like you must feel like on top of the world, you know, like you're literally like freaking going at it with someone else. Like it's all in. You're so present, I bet, when you're there. And it just, that must be the most amazing feeling, just to be in your element, like getting hitting, like.
Definitely.
Are you able to rebound pretty quick? Like when you take a shot, are you able to pretty much, like, I mean, obviously every shot's different, but like when you get
a quick note on this, just in your last fight with Dos Santos, there was a moment when he took you down and ended up in full mount. You're catching some hands and potentially elbows to the face. But as I was watching you, just in your eyes, it almost seemed as if you knew you were going to escape, and you just executed exactly what was playing through your mind, and you escaped that full mount. And, you know, I'm just curious, like when you're taking those, you know, in full mount, just taking punches and elbows, like, are you even feeling that? Or are you just like, you're just playing through like exactly how you're escaping that?
Exactly how I'm escaping it. Cause that whole moment, and you know, ends up adding like more, it makes it more like interesting and funny. Cause, Professor Sean, which is my jiu-jitsu coach, all we do is bad predicaments. Like for the past like 3 weeks of before that whole fight, bad predicaments. All right, get you in the full mount. This was happening, etc. It got to the moment that I'm so more comfortable escaping or from someone that's on the mount instead of any other position, that when they ended up getting full mount, I was like, oh, he feels comfortable, you know. They get in for full mount, because the first round or the second round, when he ended up taking me down, he got to mount and I escaped it. I already knew it back in the head. Oh, you just got comfortable, you know, but not knowing that that's like my A game of escapes.
And that's what I think I saw in your eyes.
Yeah.
There was a moment you did like a head turn. You're just like, I'm getting out of this. This isn't lasting long.
I promise you, because it was like as soon as he got him out, I know he felt like, oh, I made it to mount, like, you know, and it was like, yeah, you're not.
The
knowing.
crowd
This
gets
is like
a little
my
bit hyped.
A game. And then, you know, it's like, and that's another thing. It's like, I am a crowd pleaser. I love to make things exciting. Like, you know, like majority of that whole fight, I didn't have to exchange with him. I could have literally picked him apart from the outside. I could have played that, you're not taking me down from the outside. Like, I have IQ for that. I can do that. But I know that's not going to win fans over. And that's how, like, the Brazil things. Like me, when I end up telling people I want to be worldwide, you know, I want to be the people's champ. I'm not lying. Like, this is what I am aiming to do. Like right now, I want to go to China. Like, you know, I want to fight out there and on August 31st. Like, me being on that, able to still 80,000 fans. Because, you know, the whole stadium holds 80,000 fans. For me to go out there and perform the way I performed in Greenville, or even better, which I'm going to aim to do, and I will do, that I was still them. I'm still 80,000 people. They're going to become fans of me. And then now me going home, I'm going to be known in China, just like I was known in Brazil, just like I was known on the New York side, you know, or everywhere that I ended up going. Like, I'm like getting random calls, or like Canada right now. Canada was reaching out to me before I got to UFC. Like, you know, hey, we want you to come over here. We got for a belt. It was like another thing. It was like for a belt, and I don't even know about Canada. It was like, oh, that's cool, but you know, you got to talk to Matt.
It's cool the opportunities that arise when you keep pushing.
Oh, definitely. You know, like I even got an offer from like ACB before like the whole UFC thing, you know, and it was like great numbers to go to Russia to fight, you know, and I was always down to do this because my whole goal is I want the world to know me. And the funny moment about all this, the funny moment about all this, it was just about that one look that the judge gave me. Him looking down. So when I hear that, it's oh, I'm gonna go over there because I steal them over and I come back. Hey, Russia looks at me with, glory. I go to China. China looks at me with, hey, this is someone we love. Like, because in China, like they're bred with like fighters. Japan, fighters. Doesn't matter how you look at it. Over on the east side, fighters. So you go over there and steal them, it's in their eyes, they'll treat you like how we treat Bruce Lee. Like, when we look at it like, oh, Bruce Lee's the man, Bruce Lee is this, and Bruce Lee paved the way for MMA, the whole nine. Or even like, you kind of like dig into it, like how we end up looking at it, But how they like treat it over there, it's, this is baby Zeus, baby Hercules, So I'll be like I'll be like a Hercules out there. And like, that's where I want to be. Like, I want to have it where in 30 years that they end up seeing someone that came from poverty type thing, and came all the way up to here. Like, have you ever like in history classes when you end up like, listening to like the stories, or even not even history.
You want to be great.
Like, like a straight legend where the kid was supposed to become the king.
Get your own Mortal Kombat character.
Oh, and I'm trying to work on that too. I'm just saying.
Your style's pretty you fit right in a Mortal Kombat game, man. Do you work on that, or is that just a natural flow? Because I feel like when I watch you, it's just the way you piece together combos that seamlessly never end. Like, your combo game is just crazy. It's like, whoa, still going.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And it's like, that's actually funny too, because it's like people that have been reaching out to me, it was like, we love your style. And it was like, why we love your style is because it's unique, but it's like similar, but very unique to you. Like, where I'm in range where I put myself in danger, but you're not in danger. Because like, I could be really close to you where you think you're able to hit me, but it's like, it comes here and it's like literally your hand is going past my nose. So it'll like probably skink my nose, and then next you're getting popped with about 5 shots, like bang, 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 But and it's a style that like I always end up telling like anybody I end up teaching, like, you learn the basics. I teach the basics. I am a fan of basics. Like, if you end up going to any of my training camps or just watching me, I'm doing nothing but basics, like basic stepping for foot movement to improve foot movement. Basic jabs, simple little things. And then it'll come down to that moment I tell them, like, you end up creating your own style. And that was literally one thing that I was always on, making your own style. Because I wanted to be like the next Bruce Lee. I'm not going to lie to that. I wanted to be like,
I could see you doing a career that goes far beyond the UFC. I see you in movies, doing all sorts of stuff. You would definitely, you could definitely vibe on that level.
You see, now I'm stunned. I wasn't lying when they said about Blade. I was really heartbroken. They told me about Blade yesterday.
So you're Mr. Highlight. Was that given to you, or is that your name?
That was basically voted by the fans. But I don't like the name.
But you like the People's Champ.
I like the People's Champ or Day. And Day is like my original thing that, it's like I was raised with that. My brother always called me, and it comes down to that's like my other alter ego type thing. Like, I literally, before I walk in, like, or before I even get ready to walk, I'll be like, all right, we need to bring Day out. Day, where you at? Day kicks in. Hey, what's up?
It's a damn good day to have a damn good day.
You see, damn, it's day.
That's
for
the
days,
motto.
I promise you, it was like that whole, like, and then end up understanding, like, in that like dark stage of mine, that Day is the one what pushed me forward. Because like me breaking down that whole what day means, it can mean like a million things for like different different countries and everything. But to me, it's just like a reminder that you have a full day to do something. You have 24 hours to be better than you was yesterday, and like I said, that's like my motto. Like, I want to be better than I was yesterday. You got 24 hours. Do you? You got 24 hours to be someone special. You got 24 hours in this day, and spelled DAII, because I had to just swag it out a little bit.
Dude, your tat too. That thing. Oh, that is legendary.
I'm just seeing that one on your knee now too. That thing is savage.
Literally, I just got this one done. I advise people to not. No, my bad. I had the knee done, but it like came off, and then I was like literally heartbroken about that one because the pain, and I numbed it. I promise you, I numbed the mess out of my knee, and I used to be like very tolerant with tattoos, like with this chest tattoo that I have.
What does that say?
Yahweh.
What does it mean?
God, his real name, Yahshua, or Yahshua is Jesus.
Hebrew
and
ligature.
for Hebrew.
Yeah.
You know, so Yahweh was his true name in the Hebrews. So, in which Hebrews was one of the first languages. You know, and this is back then, like me studying everything, like, you know. But it ended up coming out like I became like very Buddhist. You know, like really jumped into that, but they're tied in with everything. So me, I'm like looking at the bigger.
Do you
picture of life.
meditate?
Oh yeah, definitely
Every
meditate.
day?
Every day. Me meditating is every day. Or
What's your routine for meditation? Like, you wake up and you just go right into it?
wake up kind of at times when I end up waking up. I tried that, but I end up finding out like some mornings I like wake up irritated, and it's like I feel bad. Like if I try to meditate, I'm like I'm already breaking it. Like, all right, dang, I already broke the rule.
Right.
You know, I'm like, I'm mad. You know, but nah, me meditating would be me like in the car, like, you know, driving, or just me finding a moment to just keep it to myself. So it kind of ranges because it's about when you really need to, you know, do it. So
I think with
ends up helping me.
meditation, there's, you know, it's. I think everybody's like, oh, it's when you're sitting on the ground, Indian style, in silence. But really, it's when you're feeling in a good space with yourself and you're alone, and you can kind of just get in your head and be clear. And
that's true. It's like sometimes, like me with meditating, it can fly into a moment of me want to learn something. Like right now, I'm like trying to learn Chinese right now, Mandarin, like, you know, and I end up using that as my little moment of myself. It's about your time. It's you being you by yourself, and you just get to have the chance of being you, like, you know. And it's not a lot of people get to be yourself all the time, because, you know, like we were stating, like sometimes you know, you're going through a hard patch, you end up smiling, like, you know, and then they wonder, like, I know you're going through a hard patch, why are you smiling? And it's like, one, I'm just happy for being here, and I know I'm going through some stuff, but at the same time, I'm like really chilled. And then like that's right there, it's you meditating, because it's like you chilling.
Yeah, I'm always like low key envious of people that can meditate on the dime, because I feel like it's like a superpower. Because people that meditate, I feel like they got an unfair advantage, because I'm trying to learn the meditation game. I'm working on it. We talk about it a lot on the podcast because everyone has a different theory on it. But if you can really control your mind, I mean, that's everything. It's like things we wish we learned in school. We just did a podcast with Sean Moore, the CEO of TrueFace, and he was talking about things he wished he learned in school, like things like taxes and things like being able to incorporate businesses and reading NDAs, or just practical skills. Like if you learned and worked on your mind consistently throughout your whole life, you would be so much more prepared to deal with the fact that we're floating on a giant rock in the middle of time and space, and we have no idea what the hell's going on. It's like, no wonder there's anxiety and depression in the world. Like, we got to work on our minds. We got to get better at figuring this whole thing out. If you can't figure yourself out and ground and feel okay and like get into your vibe, it's hard to have everything else kind of come full circle.
Oh, it's true. I definitely agree with that. Like, and then that's where the mind becomes mind blowing.
Do you believe like law of attraction? Like you can attract anything in your life. Like you see it in your brain. Like, can you see yourself winning that belt? Like, do you think about that every day?
Funny moment about that. And I'm 100% believer of law of attraction, karma, anything goes around, comes back around, the whole nine. So funny moment, 2015, after walking out of the courtroom, first thing came out of my mouth, I gotta find something I'm really great at. And what I honestly know what I'm really great at is fighting. I go back to the gym. I'm about to make it to the UFC. 2 years. Give me 2 years. I'm going to be in the UFC. Let's go. Became that person that trained, cutting weight, the whole nine. And not in 2017, in which it could have been 2017, just the fact is in I had a lot of opportunities, but the opportunities that were basically given to me basically was given to somebody else inside the gym. You know, hey, things happen. I understand it. The way I look at it is, I'm not going to get mad about it. I'm just going to continue to do me, be exciting, be that person that brings a show to everybody that end up loving me. And to the moment that people in Cali that just come starting to love me, people.
It's that vibes, man. You shoot out those good vibes.
Yeah, see? And then that's
it's the Dre show. It's like, ooh, damn. damn. Like
you
people,
see?
you
He's
just
here.
look at that. Look at that smile. It's like
know?
when the UFC, like you won that, you did that dance, and you like that, like,
You know?
maybe we can get a
Work
quick
it out.
preview right now. Like
Hey.
that quickness. Like your energy, you're just a freaking energy ball. Like,
Oh, say I appreciate it.
I mean, keep thinking big, dude. Like, think big, cause jeez, like,
I tell you, it's like I literally, like they popped me on like one of the UFC, yes, or not ESPN, but it was like Fox. So I was on it, and then they're like, yeah, you know, what does it mean to you? I'm like, right now, you guys not understanding how big it is because I ended up conquering a goal that I said I was going to do about 2 years ago, you know, 2.5 years or some change, like, you know, and I said I was going to make it to the UFC. I said I was going to be that guy. I said that a person that didn't have nothing can do something. I end up opening up a door for people to look up and say, hey, that guy right there, he did something. That means that he made it. I can do it.
right.
And I was like literally that beacon for people to understand you can do something if you put your mind into it, you know? Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm a true believer of that. If you want to make something great in your life, you know, you need to put that full 100%. Like, you know, you have the people like, oh yeah, you know, I'm going to school, but I'm trying to fight at the same time. Nah, it doesn't work that way, you know? And I get it. Like, you might have that one token person that's able to do it, but it's really slim. This is why they always say
It's like the burn the ships, you know, go on the island and burn the ships. We're either coming back on our shield or with the shield.
Yeah, and it's really like that. And it's like, and that's like I am. It's like, hey, if you want this, you got to go 100%. Like, because, you know, like I have like a lot of people that are around and they really feel like, oh, you know, well, I'm doing this and I'm going to try to do that. No, how about just do that and then come back to this, you know, conquer that to get to this, you know, like, because like, I'm not going to lie, after I'm done with the whole fighting, I wanted to end up like becoming a movie director. I want to make movies, like, you know, and then someone told me like, oh, you know, you can go to school and, you know, and fight. And I was like, no, because if I end up doing that, my grades might get down, you know, short to the moment that I'm not going to understand some stuff. I might miss some things because I'm thinking about fighting this whole time, you know, or I'll get into fight, but thinking about, man, I got a project I got to finish, like, you know.
School's pretty stressful.
Oh, it is. And it's like for you to go to school, you know, it's stressful, like, you know, and I'm not type of, I really, if I know I got practice after, I'm not paying attention. I am not paying attention. And me knowing that I got to do homework, and I got to go to practice, something not getting done. It's me not going to practice or me not doing homework. I'm like if you give me like too much stuff to handle, that's too much, like, you know. And it's like even if I'm able to do it, it's going to progress really slow, you know. But how about just give one thing 100%, and then as soon as you conquer that and finish it, come back to this side and give it 100%, and you'll end up realizing that, you know, you ended up conquering the stuff.
And I mean, through this opportunity, you're going to find those people that are going to help make that other dream a reality.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to happen.
Definitely.
100%.
Definitely.
I mean, who knows? We always say this. It's like, put those things out there. Let people know what you want to do now, because you never know who's going to show up to the table. They're going to see you, and it's like, you're going to get that opportunity. And everyone that's listening is one opportunity away from changing everything.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's so important. We always got to remember it and believe it.
Oh, it's true. Like, and then like I want people like understand this. Like, you know, you got like some people that go to school, right, and are in the NFL, NBA, you know, but some majority of them didn't actually go to school or really do the schoolwork. Like, hey, can you pass me you know, give me an A, teach, or hey, can you do my homework? You got this. Like, you know, like people, like when, you know, when people like watch it like on movies and stuff, like, oh, this one, matter of fact, Jungle. No, not Jungle.
Jungle Book?
No, it's one with Rock and Kevin. I forgot the dang movie already. But
Jumanji.
All right, so the new Jumanji #1, okay? And we're not talking about the very, very original. We're talking about with the Rock and Kevin Hart. All right. In there was the kid that actually became, he was the Rock, and
right.
the kid that was Kevin. He was the football player, his best friend, basically, or was his best friend, but he kind of had to branch away from him because he wasn't with the cool kids. But he only talked to him was when he needed him to do his homework. Like, that actually happens. Like, people don't get that. It's really out there in the world. Like,
but it's also like, someone might look at someone doing that and be like, yo, they're cheating the system or whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
But it's allocation of resources. Like,
Oh yeah,
there's
definitely.
partnerships and everything in life.
Oh, definitely. And you know, and just like how you stated, it is, and it comes down to like say for instance, I wasn't good at geometry. If I would have had that one person, that would have been heaven for me.
But you got the homie who's good at geometry and he
There
can help
you
you
go.
out.
And he ends up helping. Hey, I'll end up working with you. You know, I'll do this, but you got to learn it. Like, you know, like little small stuff like that,
Yeah.
you know? And that's what I'm saying. It's like, you got some people out there doing that, and it kind of just proves their moment. Like, and you know, they probably could actually get it. They actually could get it. Like me, if I would have had the right teacher, I probably would have got the whole geometry thing.
Right.
If you would have explained it in like
You can
a
see
fighting
that the
term.
geometry thing is deep rooted in you.
Oh, definitely.
It all comes back to the geometry thing.
You see?
It's like,
yeah,
man,
you see?
he caught me with that third hand because of
Geometry,
goddamn geometry.
You know, hit me with the triangle. Like,
Oh man, E equals MC
Hey,
squared.
you feel me? And I promise you, it's like kind of like off of that. And it's like if someone would explain that to me in a fighting mentality, I would have aced geometry like a mug. I promise you. Literally, it's about who can teach it and who cannot teach it.
Yeah,
Anybody
like
can be taught anything.
growing like the vines. Like whenever you think about something, you need something to stem off of.
There you go. There you go. And like when I end up teaching people like how to fight and everything, I literally break it down to a T where they can understand it, like the reasons why. Which my professor always ends up saying, Professor Majid's coach, you know, you understand the why, and then that basically answers your question. Oh, you're like Yoda to this. All right, I got you, you know. But that's how I break it down. It's like small details. You learn the basics, and then you'll end up understanding anything and everything you do comes back to your basics.
Right.
You know, like me with my hands down, or similarly coming down, or if my hands are not at my face. People think, oh, he doesn't know the basics. But in reality, before I end up like unloading, my hand comes back to my face to load, comes back to my face when I get done, back to where it started.
What's that called when you have your hands? What's that like style?
I'm gonna call it. Let's see, for me,
I didn't know if there was like a legit name.
the legit name, or for orthodox people, it would be like unorthodox. 'Cause,
Gotcha.
like Roy Jones was basically one of the unorthodoxes where they don't do the correct thing. Like orthodox is supposed to be like, hey, you know, you do your hands to your chin, simple basics. That's normal orthodox. And then you have unorthodox where it's I kind of break the rule where my hands are not to my face.
Right.
So you could say unsouthpaw, I guess. Or, you know, but where I end up mixing up where the hands are there but not there. But regardless of the situation, everything comes back to the basics.
That makes sense.
What do you think the toughest discipline is to fight?
For my style?
Yeah, your style. Let's do that.
Okay, my toughest discipline, someone coming up against me would be, I want to go ahead and say, it'll be wrestling, you know, but I don't know why I'm saying wrestling, because it's one of those, you already know what they want to do and they already know what I want to do. And it's one of those, it's either I'm taking you down with a shot or you're going to automatically crack the mess out of me, you know, like, so I'm gonna hit you or you're gonna end up taking me down. It's one of the two. So that'll probably be like the polar opposite of what I'm doing and what they do. Like jits, it's one of those you could survive by just holding, you know.
Is there a big difference in the takedown of a wrestler and someone who's practicing jiu-jitsu?
Oh, definitely, because the wrestlers, they're 100% committed, you know. Where jits, it's like that 50-50 of, I know I want to get to the ground, but there's that chance you might actually hit me. And if you hit me, I might go night-night, you know, because it's like a sloppy shot, you know, like I'm not saying like all jits wrestlers are like this, but you catch a lot of them where they'll just shoot just because in their eyes, it's like say for instance, the one that got knocked out with the super knee the other day, Ben Askren.
Yeah, Masvidal.
Yeah, like Masvidal. Like he already knew you just want, you know, you're that basic, I'll just grab you, and then as soon as I grab you, we might fall to the ground type thing, you know. Or if I grab a leg, you can pound my face in, but it's okay because I'll take you down type wrestling.
Yeah, like
you
you're
know?
going down somehow.
Yeah,
I
you
might
know.
die in the process, but
And he was okay with that. Like, and that's I'm a committed wrestler, you know. And then you got the other ones where they're like straight jits, like they got no hands, you know, no wrestling. And then so they just, all right, I'm going to try to grab you, like, you know. And then by you trying to grab me, you see the hands come out, like mommy style. And then it's like, with a striker, that's like striking heaven. But again,
striking heaven.
Oh man, hands flying. You'll probably see like 100-piece combination. Like off the video game Marvel versus DC. Like when they end up hitting up to 100.
That's what I was thinking when I was watching you fight. I was like, whoa, they're still going. The combos are still flying. I was like, damn.
I feel like you have like really badass legs. I don't know if you use them enough.
I don't. And to be honest, it was funny too because we didn't bring the kicking pads, so I didn't warm up my kicks. So I wasn't thinking about kicks. I was only thinking about my hands. And then they're like, yeah, man, if you would have kicked him, you probably would have knocked him out. And I'm thinking to myself like, if I would have kicked him, I would have knocked him out.
Yeah.
And I was like, but things happened, and it was funny too because I ended up doing this teep kick to the face, right? And it was really like as soon as I rocked him, and it was a complete miss. And it was the funny thing is, it's like he didn't dodge it. I just misstepped.
Is that where you stumbled a little bit?
No, not that one. That one came about later on after. But I ended up messing up my my kick, or I messed up my ankle off the first kick where I ended up catching him at the body and / elbow, and then so it didn't like kick into me that I messed it up. But I was like, oh, I felt it. And then I tried to do a T kick to the face. This is where it would have it would have finished the fight. But I misjudged it by him like partially stepping to the left. And it wasn't one of those dodges. It was like one of those I'm woozy. And I just completely missed. And so since I ended up missing, I was like, it kicked in. Like this is where IQ kicked in hard. Like, oh, if he wasn't hurt, he would have took me down. As soon as that happened, I ain't using my legs. I was like, I'm going to punch him to death. I'm just going to punch him to death. And then next you know it, this is where I ended up stumbling off my ankle because I ended up rolling it. So everything is just becoming like worse with the legs. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to stay away from just kicking right now. But even though I ended up kicking like probably like 2-3 more times, but it was one of those like, I think I was like the adrenaline pumping in, like, hey, let me go ahead and kick. But I'm actually good at kicks. Like people don't end up understanding. Like I actually can kick like Taekwondo type kicks. We want to go kick for kick. I can do that.
Yeah, I want to see. I feel like those kicks are a secret weapon going on right now.
And
because at first the ground game was your weakness. You've gotten that. Your hands are obviously your strength, but those kicks, man.
Yeah. And then, people already expect me not to kick, but it's like, I'm out here. I can actually kick. And that's like probably like the best window for me. But I like to make it exciting. So it's like, you want to throw? Let's throw.
All right. So, Dre, this is a question I ask everyone. Anybody is pursuing whatever hobby, looking back at your life is a very big learning lesson for a lot of people. You've gone through a lot of intense situations. That time when you're 25, you've lived 100 years in 1 year probably. I mean, that was just crazy for your whole life, like for your mindset. I mean, you're a 60-year-old man in a 31-year-old body.
Stressing.
I mean, damn, you've been through a lot. But it's like, what would you have said to yourself if you could have went back, say, let's call it, for you particularly, let's call it like sophomore year of high school. If you could have said to yourself 1, 2, or 3 things, and you're like, yo, Dre, we got like 3 or 5 minutes. This is you from the past. No, like you didn't do too many drugs. This is for real. Let's go. If you could have said 1, 2, or 3 things that could have saved you a ton of time, money, and maybe just headache and personal grief or whatever, like what lessons would you tell yourself, that younger you?
Let me see. Younger me, that I would have told myself that it's okay to ask for help. Because I was like really, really, like people don't get it. Like I was really stubborn, like, and I can go ahead and just claim it like, it's just the way I was raised, you're not supposed to ask, but there's this moments like sometimes you need help, you need someone to talk to. And if you don't have that person to talk to, you end up pushing people away. Cause like, that's like one of my problems I have like right now with, like my relationships, like, with my lady, like I do make it kind of tough. Like I understand it. Like I am a person that went through a lot of hell, and when it's time for me to express it in my eyes, it's smile it off. You're okay, and actually kind of like give me tear up right now.
It's like you get like PTSD from that experience.
Yeah,
because it's real. You're real.
Yeah,
and it's,
and it was like one of those situations. Like I promise you, when I ended up asking for help, like the whole court, no one
was there.
No one wanted to help, and it was just and it's like. My mom, like she doesn't have like a lot, like it's like it's us. And then my pops, you know, he's there, but you know, it's like I said, it's like it's us type thing. Like we don't have that money where, oh, you need a lawyer, let me go to my bank and go ahead and grab it. No, he doesn't have that. Like no one in our family or that family doesn't have it. Like we are the generation that's changing it. Like, you know, like I said, I have my cousin that's in the NBA. He is the generation that's saving that family. Like, you know, and then you got my side where I'm the generation that's saving my family. You know,
You put the weight of all of them on your shoulders too.
you know, and it's like where you end up growing up and you understand it. Like, and when I say help, I'm saying as in talking, like going for guidance and stuff like that. Not help as in, hey, let me bite my tongue and not say anything. Because I feel like if I would have been that guy, I won't be the guy I am today. You know, oh, let me bite my tongue and not say nothing to this coach. Nah. Oh, let me not say nothing, you know, for him treating me wrong. Because I literally went to a school that I was one of the best players. Like on the football field, best player, fastest player. You give me the ball, I'm making magic.
It's kind of
Yeah. You know, so definitely.
number one, ask for help. There it is.
Go ahead and ask for help because it's okay. You need to talk because, like I stated, I'm tough on myself and I'm thinking a smile can just push it away. But in reality, like I stated, where it came into that whole court situation of the fight before my last one in December, that right there, that's the one that opened up my eyes. Like, man, I'm human, and me trying to smile everything off and pretend that ain't nothing wrong. It'll catch up to you. And it's like, it's one of those things like something's building up. And now it's one of those moments of someone's going to get that full build up. Is it either you or you're going to lash out on somebody? But it's a ticking time bomb waiting to happen. And then when it happens, it's like, again, it's you or you lashing out on somebody. And it's like, and this is where, you know, me like meditating kicks in like hard, like, you know, and the meditating is me smiling it off on things that I know that's hurting me. And I try to push it away, but then I lash, like, you know, and it's either me breaking down crying or me just being frustrated and boom, you know, but then, you know, but we're human, you know, and you're going to have these moments, and as long as you know how to accept it, you can move on.
It's interesting how we always think that our issues are so like personal to us. Like we think it's only us going through these things. Like in our mind, it's only us, right?
Yep.
So it's like there's so many people that can relate to what you're saying.
Yep. It's like your neighbor right here.
And
Hi.
people don't speak up enough. And like just by speaking up and being vulnerable, I mean, 25-year-old you wouldn't have said that, but you know, you've matured a lot, and for you to say that, that's going to change a lot of people. Definitely. And what more can you ask for in life than to help people, right?
Oh, it's definitely.
So that's number one. Is there anything else? If you had two more, anything else you would have said to the young Dre?
Continue to be exciting, you know, because people love excitement. You know, showtime, entertainment. You know, that's how it is. Everybody loves.
You mean
something.
just be more like eccentric, like put yourself out there more?
Out more. Yeah.
Like not care what people say, just be you?
Definitely.
Gotcha.
Definitely. So, because that's always like a advice I always give to people. Because, you know, they'd be like, because, you know, how many people was like, how can I be a UFC fighter? I want to be a UFC fighter, you know? And it's like, well, one, just make sure you're yourself. And that's like literally I'll tell myself.
And you're doing it for you, not for anyone else.
There you go. Because as long as you end up having that mindset and then have that mindset of being the best at whatever you end up doing, you're good. Like if I knew I was going to be a football player, which I thought, you know, I was going to be.
What position?
At the time, I was a wide receiver. And the funny moment was when if I was going to join like the whole, when I went to RCC, I was supposed to sit there for like a year and then go to UCLA. To get or collect my whole scholarship and everything. I was going to actually walk onto the football and I was just going to do basically kick return, you know.
Are there any players you idolize in the NFL?
At first it was, or right now I can go ahead and say Odell Beckham and Des Bryant. Before them, it was literally my cousins, Hakeem Akbar and Mikel Akbar. It's
crazy. Those are cousins.
Yeah. It's like, they're the stars. Like, it is literally, I probably was just talking to my cousin about it like that day. I was like, man, like, you didn't even understand like how I looked up to you. Like, cause you know, he's 41, so he's 10 years older than me, you know? And I was like, yeah, we used to, when you're at Washington High School, or not Washington High School, Washington, the Huskies, you know, for college and everything. And I was like, yeah, when you're over there and every time you came out here to play, I was like that front row. excited, you know. And it's like literally that kind of put me in tears of me looking up to him. And then it's funny where he was like, you know how you were looking at us? It was like, this is how we're looking. This is how I'm looking at you when you're fighting. You know, so it's kind of like how the rules kind of reversed.
That's crazy
You know?
because you forget it. You only see it from your lens.
Yeah.
You're not seeing it from someone else's. So there's number 2.
Yeah.
If you had to say number 3, anything else you would have told the little Dre?
Who would Young Dre call out in the UFC?
Oh, I'm going for legends, man. I want legends right now. Like literally all legends. And if it ain't myself, or if I'm not able to find myself, it would be all legends. Cause like Dominic Cruz right now, Uriah Faber, you know. But I already know right now they'll kind of like push that away. Like, you're just talking. But I already fought a legend, so why don't you just give me another one, you know?
Right. I love your UFC comments. I'm always geeking out over them. Yeah, why am I not up there?
You
Dre
guy. Oh, I got so many hashbacks on those comments, and it's like funny too, because like I literally
you respond.
I
You're
was like responding.
It's all up, man. I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
yeah.
And then they don't. Oh, my bad, bro.
Is that the best way to deal with haters?
Oh, definitely. Because like if you end up like responding to them, they'll change, like how you say, they'll change. Oh man, my bad, but yeah, you know, I'm actually a fan. Like, you know, it's like, well, that's cool. You know, it's like I appreciate that. Or like some of them, yeah, you need to stop, or you need to get off, or worrying about other people's comments and go back to practice. And I was like, well, I just finished practice, so you basically got me all day, you know. Like, and I was like literally one of probably my favorite comebacks. No, one of them was you know, like no one knows.
I
you.
love that.
You know, I was like, well, my mom knows me. You know, my girlfriend knows me. You know, my brothers and my sisters. Like some people know me. Like,
my mirror knows me. He stares back every time.
Talks to me, having a conversation. You know, so it's like I'm like literally. But yeah, I feel like that's like the best like moments where you end up responding, and especially when people end up like talking down, and it's like I promise you, I had like a few of them like, we don't even know who you are, and I was like, all right, well, you know me now, you know.
So this is like the caboose, the end, like the grand finale of questions on the podcast that are just super vital to just helping people. And it comes down to this situation where there's people right now that are currently potentially say working a 9-to-5 or doing something every single day that either one, they're making a ton of money in, but it doesn't bring them satisfaction. Maybe they're making phenomenal money. Maybe they're, you know, going to Equinox. They got all the hookups. They're dining out 3 times a week. They got Postmates all day. Like they don't worry about nothing, but they're just not satisfied. They feel like they're not living to their potential. They just feel like part of them's dying, right? They're not following their dreams. They don't feel like, you know, that life. Or someone else struggling, you know, working all day, not making ends meet, not happy emotionally, physically, spiritually, just out of sync. And there's something that they want to do, whether it be starting their own job, starting their own business, becoming an entrepreneur, be getting into the UFC or beginning to train, or even be just starting Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or something. And they're right on the cusp of making that big decision, but something's holding them back. Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's what people are going to think about them, but something's holding them back. What would you say to those people that are out there right now that are right on the cusp of, you know, actually just diving head in, following their dream and not looking back?
Well, what I would say is probably a quote from a song. Don't push me 'cause I'm close to the edge. We're trying not to lose our heads. Ha, 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 ha. Makes me wonder how I keep them going under. You know, that's so right there.
That's the best song to clean to.
Hey,
You ever
really
put that
is.
song and
Oh,
start
definitely.
sweeping?
Oh, definitely.
Oh my God. You can sweep for
Definitely.
days.
Hey, so off of that like quote, jump over. Just gotta go, jump. Like I promise you, like I literally gave up. I quit the 9-to-5. You know, I was there. I had the 9-to-5. I quit, and went 100% in. Like there are windows. You just gotta find them. You know, and when I mean like find them, as in you were saying earlier about, you know, the whole school, you know, you always have that extra side person that might be able to help. All you got to do is when I say about the help, speak, talk to somebody. Like, you know, you're on that, I want to go ahead and start fighting, but I got to work. How about you start edging your way over there? Little small steps. By one, going into the gym, talking to them, saying, hey, I want to do this, but I got to do this. They'll able to rearrange some stuff. Like I literally have a student that I work with. He ends up working, or he was working 2 jobs. Or not Christian, he is working 2 jobs, but somehow makes it time and effort to get to me. And they even got to the moment where he ends up training while trying to, raise his kid and everything. It comes down to that moment, like you speaking, like opening up, you'll kind of get a different feedback. Like I'm that guy, like I went through that. I understand that. I have that. Like I said, I'm the second chance guy. Like I'm literally trying to make a charity or like a little program for people that just need like a chance. Like, like I promise you, I have like a lot of students where I kind of like took them under, where it's, hey, you just come in.
Well, you're in a position now where you're going to be able to make all those dreams happen.
Yeah, I could definitely do that. And then every fight, it's just going to get bigger and better for me, where I can end up expanding it and making it, for everybody. It's like a little fundraiser type thing where people can come in and be like, hey, Andre, like literally, there's somebody that lives in Arizona getting ready to move out here. He wants to train. He's telling me, hey, I'll sweep and do all this other stuff. In reality, the only thing I do is ask.
Oh, dang.
You ask, and I'm like, and he literally asked, and I'm like, yeah, come on through. I'll open up the gym.
Asking you shall receive.
Exactly. And that's the part of what I'm saying, like, help. Like, like a closed mouth doesn't get fed. And I'm a true believer of that, because when you don't talk, if you don't end up speaking up, where you going, And right there, the small steps to the progress of what you want to do. Like, you want to quit this job. You're not happy. So let's start making progress or steps to the direction that you can be happy. Even if it's like a side hobby. You're still doing your 9 to 5 that you don't like, but guess what? You're getting more excited because after I'm done with my 9 to 5, I'm about to do something I honestly love. So now you wake up in the morning knowing that you're getting ready to do something that you love, but you just got to work your way through. Like this. No one likes practice. I don't like practice, But at the same time, practice makes me better, Like when they end up sitting there saying like, hey, you practice, basically like practice what you preach type thing, you end up practicing, you end up becoming like spectacular,
right?
Because everybody knows the easy work is at the fights. The hard work is you practicing, because you don't know, because like one of those situations, you don't know what your coach is going to throw at you, and you might wake up like, oh man, I don't really want to sit there and work leg locks today.
Right.
I got bad ankles.
Like,
I got no legs. Like I got no calves. Like, like I'm like working on my calves, and they know it. And it's like, so when it comes down to like leg locks, it's like, damn, I don't want to work these because I don't got no calves. But little small things, man. Like I stated. So easy, small progress where you can end up edging your way over.
Closed mouth doesn't get fed. Oh, that's just been ricocheting in my ears. I love that. That's powerful stuff, man. Andre, you got a big future ahead of you, man. You're going to help a lot of people on the path. And for that, that's freaking amazing. You're a good person. I can say that with my own internal radar.
Thank you.
We really appreciate over at the LenJones Party of 2 show. You know what I'm saying? We all appreciate you.
Andre.
How can the people follow you? How can people see the Dre's journey?
Definitely on Instagram, Day42, spelled DAII 42. I will give you my Twitter, and though I got like verified like 2 days ago. Ooh. Got the blue check. I keep forgetting my Twitter name. Yeah. I feel like it's like Dre24_day. Don't quote me, but if it is, there you go. But definitely end up finding me there, follow me there, show love, and if you're right, I'll write back, basically.
All right, tune into his next fight. Do you know when that's going to be yet?
I'm aiming for China. I want that card. bad. And that's like literally 4 weeks away, about 4 or 5 weeks away. Yeah, I'm working on my Mandarin.
Let's go. He's got the Mandarin game. All right, man. Hey, appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Till next time. Peace.
Thank you for listening to another episode of LenJones Party of 2. If you enjoyed it, please leave us a review and subscribe to stay up to date on our new episodes. And remember, hope is not a strategy. Keep making moves. Till next time, peace.